未熟無情されど美しくあれディスティにふさわしくないこんなんじゃきっと物足りないくらい語っとけばうまくいく物金愛こともう自己顕示飽きた未熟何かそんな不満なんだ散々わがまま語っといてこれ以上他に何がいるそんなところも割と嫌いじゃ未熟無情されど美しくあれディスティにふさわしくないこんなんじゃきっと物足りないくらい語っとけばうまくいく物金愛こともう自己顕示飽きた未熟何かそんな不満なんだ散々わがまま語っといてこれ以上他に何がいるそんなところも割と嫌いじゃもう聞き飽きたんだよそのセリフ中途半端だけは嫌もういいや過ごしていてたって愛してどうして言われたって遊びだけなら簡単で真剣交渉めちゃくちゃで思いもしない重い言葉何度つばい古さのがどうせ期待してたんだ歴レスでもいいよだけのフレーズもかかと持ち上がる言葉だ
Recently
未熟無情されど美しくあれディスティにふさわしくないこんなんじゃきっと物足りないくらい語っとけばうまくいく物金愛こともう自己顕示飽きた未熟何かそんな不満なんだ散々わがまま語っといてこれ以上他に何がいるそんなところも割と嫌いじゃもう聞き飽きたんだよそのセリフ中途半端だけは嫌もういいや過ごしていてたって愛してどうして言われたって遊びだけなら簡単で真剣交渉めちゃくちゃで思いもしない
Recently,
Hey guys.
That I lose you on every time. Some say that it lives forever, this road. It's not meant for me. They're meant only for you, I see. Wake up, it's only a dream, and a winding road.
There are times in my life where I feel like I'm just looping, going over the same thing over and over and over again, trying to find an answer, an explanation. I'm close, like really close, but I've hit a dead end, looping around over and over. Sometimes having a fresh set of eyes bring forth results. I need your help, so let's get you up to speed. Before I begin, this video is gonna get weird, as this is involving a deceptive narrative and my own odd presentation. I'm gonna be straight up with you. This is not Bedrock 3, I have no affiliation with Zenith, and I'm just here to help those who aren't versed with the base material that Bedrock is based around to understand some things. Before we can talk about Bedrock.zip, though, we have to get into who its creator is, that being Zenith. See, this isn't his first project. It isn't even his second. See, Zenith is a Minecraft channel unlike anything I've encountered before in the horror community, where most Minecraft unfiction projects are presented as recordings of real-time gameplay on strange maps. Zenith goes a different route, taking the style we've come to expect from these lore-heavy survival multiplayer series, or SMPs for short, and applying the editing and techniques to a single-player experience. His first series on his channel is known as Root House. It takes some inspiration from the Backrooms, but adds it to a sort of MC Escher house, similar in concept to the house in House of Leaves, but with its own feel and different levels of insanity. It's not really all that scary, most of it taking place across shorts, and some videos are filled with intrigue. That said, though, it has some concepts that are existentially terrifying, such as looping over and over after a certain number of days, sometimes retaining your memory and sometimes not. Overall, it gives me the same feeling as There's Something Wrong with My Test Chamber, which, if you have not seen that series, do yourself a favor and watch it. It is a mix of insanity and hilarity. I bring up Root House before Bedrock to help establish the kind of person Zenith is. The way he tells stories and builds up the events his characters is put through, and it will help us with deciphering what is so far his masterwork. Now that we're moving into Bedrock.zip proper, if you've gotten this far into the video and you have yet to watch the series, go do so now. I've included a link to Zenith's relevant videos down below. characters is put through, and it will help us with deciphering what is so far his masterwork. Now that we're moving into bedrock.zip proper, if you've gotten this far into the video and you have yet to watch the series, go do so now. I've included a link to Zenith's relevant videos down below. Our story begins on Minecraft.net with a post from Veil2_ from back in 2018, and it's a weird clip to be sure.
Veil starts the recording. Bedrock in every direction, and judging by their inventory, this is not a new sight for them. Even though we only get a tiny glimpse of things outside, we've already seen so much that can help contextualize things. So immediately, a big question arises. Where is the Red Arch?
There are a few comments here, but the most important to the story are Acker and our DC9. There's a quick blink and you'll miss it hyperlink from our DC9 titled DMS, which is probably short for Direct Message System, and as stated in the video, Acker asks for an interview. There are other comments on here as well, and the weird part is they are all actual accounts. However, most of them seem to be inactive. Also, any posts made by Acker or DC9, and of course Veil2_ have been wiped from the net, calling into question if this post ever really existed in the first place, and if it didn't, why were these accounts, some of which who haven't been active since 2011, be included in a post from 2018? I don't have the answers to this question, but as it isn't important to the overall plot, we're gonna move on. Zenith reaches out to Acker and Veil in an attempt to find more information, and while nothing from Veil ever arises, Acker is still active, just offline. So while waiting on Acker, Zenith does some Googling and figures out that the structures in the video are modeled after Minecraft strongholds. Now then, for those of you who aren't well versed in Minecraft, a stronghold is a randomly generated structure used to house the portal to the end. Its position and layout are determined, like all things, by the Minecraft seed, with a series of preset rooms all stringed together to the whim of the seed. This Minecraft world posted by Veil seems to be doing the same thing, it's just all made of bedrock, and some of the rooms aren't lining up properly, or just are rooms that don't exist in the first place. It's during this part of investigation that Ackers enter the picture once again.
So what does Acker mean?
I don't know, actually. I came up with Acker on... I don't think I remember. It's just always been that way.
Okay, that's all good. I was just going to use that as like an introduction. Okay, where did Veil2_ go?
You're gonna ask that.
Yeah?
That's just wrong.
Okay, so I went into the interview with a couple questions ready, but this was like really weird to me. Acker, who knows more than anyone about what happened, is just shooting me down. So I changed gears. Okay, what do you remember?
That's it? You're not asking the right questions.
Well, what should I be asking? Is that not the obvious question? Like, what do you... Oh, he left the call. Great. What? Is that an IP address? Okay.
Okay, so we got some weirdness there. Acker's not really being the most cooperative, almost robotic in a way, but we do get a new lead, the Minecraft server. Now then, I'm sorry to dispel anyone wanting to hop onto the server, but it isn't open to the public right now. As far as I can tell, it was at one point, however it has since either been taken down or more likely has had a whitelist added to it. As for the server itself, it's weird. We do learn later it's on Minecraft 1.12.2, which does help explain some things, such as the overall block palette, and of course the half-rendered doors. See, half doors have a very weird history in Minecraft, only able to exist in certain versions, but back in Minecraft 1.12.2 specifically, it was caused by stack integer overflow in the code. This meant when a door was placed, it rendered only half the door. Said half render would be determined by how the door was placed. If you placed the door by clicking any lower blocks, then the bottom half of the door would render. Likewise, the top half would render by clicking any of the blocks on the top half of your door frame. Sorry, my years of playing the game are showing. Anyway, Zenith explores a few structures, marvels at the unfinished monument to greed, and then finally tries to find a stronghold, only to learn it's under spawn. It's not normal. Not impossible in a single-player world where you can spawn anywhere in a 1,000 block radius away from 0, but in a server, the standard setting has you spawn at 0, and is typically also locked off where you can't destroy any blocks, so it's definitely weird that a stronghold would be down there. As for this stronghold, it's bog standard for the most part, except for a floating torch, which, yes, is another bug in 1.12.2, and a room that doesn't exist in your average stronghold at the very bottom of some stairs.
That is definitely not in a normal stronghold. What the hell? What the hell?
Okay, so let's break down what just happened. Zenith enters the room, crafts, and then uses a switch on the piston in the room, leaves, comes back, lever flips itself and causes the piston to extend. Zenith then quits, heads back to where he was doing the interview, finds Acker just left, and then finds a broken door in his interview stairs and a sign basically asking him to stop. Now then, thankfully, I do have an explanation for this piston trick outside of, haunted game. The only thing is, though, I'm not sure if this explanation is more a behind-the-scenes fact or a part of the plot. Said explanation is known as toggle_invis. Toggle_invis is shorthand for toggle invisibility. It is commonly used by server admins to hide their presence on a server without particle effects giving them away to other players. The advantage to using this method over spectator mode is that you can still interact with the overall world, placing, destroying, and interacting with blocks. It also comes with the additional benefit that you do not appear on the current login list on your server. So in Bedrock's case, it can go one of two ways. If it is just backend stuff, then hey, haunted server for the sake of haunted server on the story. If it isn't backend, though, and we're meant to infer it as part of the plot, then it means that Zenith was being watched by his server admin. And if the latter is true, then I think it's our DC9, given how right after Acker vanishes, or DC messages Zenith on Discord. A 1.09 gigabyte zip file titled Bedrock. The titular bedrock.zip.
Huh.
Right, so the rest of the video takes place here, so I'll do my best to summarize all the weird stuff. The world, outside of the starting platform, is made up of different sections of a stronghold entirely from bedrock. We get to meet a friendly little sign letting Zenith know this world is not meant for you. The L-shaped room that didn't match any sections is also here, however it now has the additions of the chairs and table that Zenith had added in the single-player recreation. And it isn't his only creation here. After he gathers some chests to look through a sort of window-like structure, he can see the interview stairs in the distance. It's from this point that Zenith starts on a new mission. See, Minecraft chests that are naturally generated can spawn with items. What determines what items can spawn at a chest comes down to the location of the chest. Each location also has what we call a loot table, and it will pull items from that loot table to fill the chest with. Strongholds just so happen to have ender pearls as part of the loot table, just at very low rates. This world seems to be running off that loot table, so Zenith goes hunting, only to get stuck in a half-spawned staircase. Of course, he tries to build his way out, but after that fails, he takes the only option open to him and jumps to his death. switching from peaceful to hard as that deals more damage. After, he then gets enough iron to make a bucket, grabs some water, and then heads back to get the items he dropped. Shortly after, he finds not one, but 2 pearls in quick succession, much to his annoyance. Something I very much get right now. Anyways, he then pulls up his notes for his directions. Something I very much get right now. Anyways, he then pulls up his notes for his directions and starts to make his way back to spawn. Of course, this doesn't work as this world is very weird, or Zenith could have just gotten turned around, but he thankfully had backup in the form of coordinates. So he starts on his trek to find the beginning once again, and it seems to be going well right up to this point.
Well, I guess that's kind of an easy way to get to the X.
Okay, so lots more to break down there. First off, there seems to be a player above this hallway for just a moment. However, it's impossible to make out the name of this player, and should also be impossible with the current rule set of the settings, as this is a single-player world with LAN forced to stay off. Even if LAN had suddenly turned on, only a player on the same Wi-Fi ISP would be able to join the game. Shortly after the player appears, the screen shakes and the room starts to fill with more bedrock, almost as if it was collapsing on itself. Backstage, I think this was done with either command blocks or with a mod at the very least. In the story, I'm not fully sure, assuming we were meant to see the player tag as Zenith was looking right at the tag, then we can assume that the hallway collapsing was triggered by this mystery player. Probably intentionally. And again, it calls into question, who is this person, how are they in this world, and why are they doing this to Zenith? Now back at the start, Zenith uses one of his pearls to warp up to what he calls the roof. It's mostly ocean, with small islands of bedrock to stand on. He starts to make his way to the interview stairs, swimming in the water for a bit before hearing something in the water with him. He uses his other pearl to get over to the stairs, but we do see this when he does.
What the hell was that?
It seems to be a short clip of some kind of chasm, but it's only a couple dozen frames at most, just shy of a second. It doesn't come up again in this video, but does seem similar to something much later. Zenith scales the stairs up to the missing door from before. The sign there now reads the exact same content from Vale all the way back at the start of the video. Left under the red arch. And the place that Zenith just came from is revealed to be an archway. Zenith starts to bridge over to the arch, afraid of the water, but there now. Zenith scales the stairs up to the missing door from before. The sign there now reads the exact same content from Vale all the way back at the start of the video. Left under the red arch. And the place that Zenith just came from is revealed to be an archway. Zenith starts to bridge over to the arch, afraid of the water, but something starts to break the blocks behind him.
Wait. Something's breaking my bridge. No. I'm not gonna make it. Holy hell. Vale is gonna have to pay me good for finding him. This is not worth it. And now I don't even trust stairs. Uh-oh. You know, that's one way back. I can just use this place against itself. Oh. Huh.
Yeah, so remember when I said he left his game on hard mode? That is why the creeper was there and why it kills him in one shot. We get a new spawn and a return of our friendly sign, repeating, "This world is not for you." Zenith gathers his stuff, starts to plan his next move, only to come to realization about the phrase, "left under the red arch." It's not that something was left behind there, it's a set of directions. And there's only one thing that a person can use to get under bedrock: a bedrock breaker. A long-standing bug in the game that the dev team have left in at the request of the player base. An extra means of exploring creativity, and in this case, Zenith's next stage of the puzzle. Only one issue: he doesn't have wood for the trapdoor or the piston.
Wait, hold on. I get thrown back into survival when I try to do /game mode creative, but what happens if I just /give myself wood? Yo, nice.
Okay, gonna keep that noted for later. So, cheats are supposedly disabled, but not really. This is gonna come back later, but we're just gonna have to wait to explain it. Anyways, Zenith goes off to gather the rest of his materials, builds the breaker, and has one shot to get it right.
Please.
I wonder if his name is actually Veil to Blank.
Come here, pretty please. Can you tell me where I am?
Is that it?
You, won't you say something?
Am I supposed to go left after I step through?
Need to get my bearings amongst, and the shadows keep on.
So, Val2_, what's to do with this video? Is it some type of map?
It just exists. It's a place, an idea, or maybe just a video. I'm not sure yet, but this thing, Odyssey 8 or something, sent me. There's something there.
But what? Why look for it if you don't know what it is?
It's just worth it. I don't know if you get that.
Well, what's the get?
You're not asking the right questions.
Okay, then tell me, what are the right questions?
So, chaos? What the fuck is that ending? And let me tell you, it's multi-layered. First off, we learn the video Vale posted is Zenith exploring after he got done with the bedrock breaker, walking on a bed of water to a red archway with a white glow and then through it. We then get
What?
Can you
Blank. Is actually
come here? You tell me. Need to get
This
Wait,
so chaos? What the fuck is that ending? And let me tell you, it's multi-layered. First off, we learn the video Vale posted is Zenith exploring after he got done with the bedrock breaker, walking on a bed of water to a red archway with a white glow and then through it. We then get to see things from Acker's perspective, his interview with Vale2_ from back in 2018. This, of course, calls into question, are Vale and Zenith the same person, or do they share the same actor? Personally, I think it's the former. Sometimes a loop isn't a loop, it's a spiral. It's why before we got into this video I explained a bit about what else Zenith has worked on. Loops and cycles are all part of the overall themes of the channel. What we are seeing here in bedrock.zip is Zenith's turn in the loop, going through it with no memory of the last time he did so, back when he was Veil2 _ looping in the halls of Bedrock. At least that was my initial reading of the situation. It could still be that or couldn't be, it's uncertain, but the music that scores this was very much intentionally chosen. The song here is a track called Haunted by Poe. The artist is the sister to Mark Z. Danielewski, the meta-narrative writer of House of Leaves. Haunted is one of the tracks Poe made for the companion piece album to the novel. Zenith has stated that one of the major inspirations from behind bedrock.zip is House of Leaves. Furthermore, the track Haunted is featured in Alan Wake as the Chapter 2 closer, a story about a meta-writer getting trapped in a horror novel of his own creation. I bring this up because bedrock.zip gives me the same feeling I get when I'm playing Alan Wake, both intrigued and unnerved simultaneously. One thing that is clear by the end, we aren't asking the right questions. So let's go see if we can find them. And to do that, we need to talk about Styx.
Man wanna beef, don't know what the stakes is. Broad daylight, do a nigga on a day shift. Free scales, got 'em living on basic.
Styx 25 is a character made up for this series. He sells himself as a debunking investigator. You know, the type of guy who looks at an art project, calls it fake, and then goes on to try and prove it. Yeah, that is Styx. He gets into Bedrock in the first place from a user named Versity. After doing some digging, as they put it, Versity finds a video connected to this experience called The Fly Trap. Flytrap is bizarre for many reasons, but the main gimmick, the very long fall, is actually easy to explain. See, this isn't a case of playing a game with a very large modified world height. No, Zenith is falling sideways. We can tell this by the bedrock texture's orientation, but more so than that, we know it's in Zenith's wheelhouse of tricks as it's featured in his video, I Survived 100 Days in an Infinite House. There's a moment in that video where he's walking down a hallway only to have the gravity change on him and then fall down said hallway. This is done using the gravity changer mod by Andrew_10, or something similar to it. That's just the one mod that I know of that will let Zenith do this. Anyways, back to Styx, he presses forward with explaining parts from the last video, but for some reason he focuses heavily on Acker and a bunch of other reasonable questions that I have brought up, like the cheat thing. But again, focusing on Acker, Styx asks,
Why did Acker give him the world?
But Acker didn't. Other reasonable questions that I have brought up, like the cheat thing. But again, focusing on Acker, Styx asks,
Why did Acker give him the world?
But Acker didn't give Zenith the world. Or DC9 did. A detail that Styx just seems to ignore, or he's assuming that Acker and or DC are the same person. They aren't, for the record. We know that thanks to Acker's interview with Vale. When Vale says he was given the world by
Odyssey 8 or something.
Vale was misremembering, or DC9. Now then, I've alluded to it before, and I will agree that yes, Acker sounds very scripted when talking with Zenith, but I would chalk that up to him being an amateur voice actor, not a professional. He makes some very common first-time work mistakes that make what he's saying sound unnatural, waiting on his cues from Zenith to say what is written. When in the Vale interview, he's the one at the lead, giving the cues, which helps him sound a lot more natural. Anyway, that tangent aside, Styx takes some light jabs at Minecraft horror, and then settles on getting his hand on the world himself to show that it's quote-unquote not scary. And Styx has a great place to start, the same place anyone who was investigating tried first, going to the server IP shown in the video. But where many now failed to load, Styx prevailed. Okay, so we can see other people here with sticks on the server, which is why I think it was accessible at one point. However, we have a bit of an oddity going on unique to sticks. All of the text is messed up. From players to signs, it's like something is getting in the way from reading these properly. However, whatever this visual glitch is, it doesn't seem to affect sticks at all in real time, meaning it's some kind of weird recording issue. Styx explores the server, once again focusing on Acker while trying to follow Zenith's trail. He shows us some places that interest him till he runs into a base and finds out that said base belongs to Acker. Styx takes some maps, keeps on exploring around, and finds a pyramid with some bedrock structures inside. Changes topic to go over the different definitions of flytrap with some very ominous conclusions. And then finally, Styx goes to the stronghold.
You know, there's easier ways to get a reply. With a strong message sent, all I could do was keep chipping away at my Sisyphusian task, which is a hard word to understand, of course, but I mean it in a way stemming from Sisyphus, the god beater, in which it seems I keep trying
Okay, so I know I let that run a little bit long, but it's a series of moments with an amazing crescendo. And better yet, we now get to watch Styx eat crow for the rest of the video. He does some pontificating with his ideas until finally he enters bedrock.zip. The first thing Styx gives a shot is the cheats, and well...
You know, things are starting to make a lot more sense around here.
It doesn't go well. Styx explores the 4-room cage he finds himself in, and then escapes using a mixture of blocks and the weird rule sets of the cheat menu, letting himself get damage boosted after setting himself on fire. Once reaching the top and getting to the roof, you might notice a very weird interaction if you're paying attention. Zenith, as part of the flytrap video, types /say this is, and Styx then physically says, this is very different. And the best part? This isn't the first time Zenith has been typing down there, nor will it be the last. We can see these messages more clearly in the flytrap video proper, however, there's a bit of a timing offset due to how the videos are edited. For convenience, I'll be using the timestamps of when they pop up in the background of Bedrock 2. The first message is around 1520 and has Zenith try /give water bucket, which does nothing. The second is at 1555 and reads /effect Zenith IDEK, shorthand for I don't even know. And then we come back to the present in the video at 1739 with our /say this is exchange. I'll be pointing these messages out as they come out throughout the video. Styx grabs a boat and starts to go over his plans on how to tackle the Bedrock world. Meanwhile, Zenith types, "One must imagine downloading a Minecraft map." We cut to what looks like a Bedrock version of the interview stairs. Each room is empty and the doors now have levers. Zenith drops a quick lol to the empty room, and then a very quick FU and I, both incomplete, in response to Styx talking about how Bedrock treated Zenith back in his video. Anyway, we learn that the water is now 2 blocks lower than it should be, and that Styx is playing in the same world Zenith did. He just explored more of it on camera. It is here that we then find something very terrifying. A bedrocked version of the entire parkour tower. The same parkour tower Styx was using as background footage when doing his overview arguments at the start of the video. Bedrock.zip has absorbed that map into itself, and presumably has secrets hidden within. And it's while he scales the tower. Bedrock.zip has absorbed that map into itself, and presumably has secrets hidden within. And it's while he scales the tower that we get something new.
The frick is this? Hello? What?
Okay, so what the fuck was that? And the answer is both simple and complicated. This part right here and these images are why I'm making this video. This is what we need the help of the community to solve. We have it partially, and we know the method thanks to a future part of the video. But what we got out of it isn't complete, and needs a lot of help to make something workable from it. So let's get you all up to speed. The images shown in order are titled Sticks, Stones, Veils, River, Still, Water, and finally Still again, though the second still is different from the first and will henceforth be called Still 2. A Redditor by the name of Deer_Cocktail figured out that the code in these images is Goldbug Cipher, a code that was invented by Edgar Allan Poe. Yes, that Poe. Doth the Raven quote nevermore Poe. Goldbug was made as a part of his poem, The Golden Beetle. It's a really cool code with a lot of history to it. Now then, due to how the images are made, getting the exact symbols from each image has been confirmed to be a pain in the ass. I would know, I tried myself. Thankfully, the users on r/ARG following this case have made a Discord dedicated to the Bedrock videos, and while I have tried to do some digging into who figured out what, I haven't been able to get any clear answers on that, so I'll just credit the group overall as this was very much a group effort. Now then, the good news is the rest of the way forward in this puzzle is in the video. The bad news is that it's later on in the video. So, let's shelve this for now, but keep it in mind for later as we follow
未熟無情されど美しい 情されど美しくあれのディスティにふさわしくないこんなんじゃきっと物足りないくらい語っとけばうまくいく物金愛こともう自己顕示飽きたレシュープ何かそんな不満なんだ散々わがまま語っといてこれ以上他に何が無情
Styx back onto Vale's SMP. Bad news is that it's later on in the video. So let's shelve this for now, but keep it in mind for later as we follow Styx back onto Vale's SMP.
Now, I've got another hunch here that I'm thinking could track back to everything so far. It's one word. Misdirection.
Oh, yeah. Things have changed a bit since we were last here. As Styx pontificates about misdirection, we get our next comments from Zenith, though they take a bit to see as Styx is now full screened and not windowed, with flytraps slowly coming into view at points. Zenith asks, WTF was that? Most likely in reference to the glitching images, followed by, I feel colder too. And most clearly, things keep freezing, sort of in response to the video footage from Styx being a bit laggy at times. We also get noises get louder, and about a minute later, take my ears and burn them in a river. Meanwhile, Styx keeps exploring Vale's SMP, mentions empty commentary videos of which I don't know what he's referring to, talks about some of the similar structures in the SMP and Bedrock, and then, around the point that Zenith gives his burns my ears comment, we see the doorway fade in the background, the message sending right as we pass through it. It's a weird shot to be sure, making me feel like Zenith and Styx are now connected more than ever to one another, and it's gonna keep happening. Styx returns to his train of thought on misdirection, points out the different hotbars between cuts, claiming that most likely we haven't seen everything that Zenith recorded, and then Acker joins the SMP. Seeing how Styx's argument up to this point is that Acker is behind Bedrock.zip, you can guess what he tries to do next. And now we enter the signs. This goes on for a good bit, and they all tell a single message, so I'll just breeze through it. There are places that you just shouldn't be. Not you. But your footprint, your 8 billion pieced print in the still sand. Still send. In the midst of this, we get Zenith asking WTF, probably questioning what exactly is going on right now. As for the message itself, it seems to be worded to the viewer and not Styx, and there's something else off about the message. When we get a look at the sign for there, it also marks off each row on the sign, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The words being spread across these rows. Stringed together, we get the numbers 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1, 3, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 1. There is something with these numbers. We just don't know what yet. I have tried every single number base code I can think of and then some, and still come up with nada. And trying to use it to reorder things just doesn't work, as there aren't enough numbers to be evenly spread around. In theory, it could potentially be used for some kind of a link, but if so, I don't know what. This is just too big brain for me. I can't figure it out at all, but maybe you can. Anyway, back to the video at hand, we see Styx make his way over to a bedrock platform, building his way up to it, and while he does, we get a series of messages from Zenith that read, "If there were water, and no rock, and water, and water, and water, and water," with Zenith trailing on with the "and water" message for a while.
I might have an idea. I've noticed a few things which I'll show soon, but if this thing I'm thinking works, I might be able to get a big upper hand. So commands are all out of whack here, right? /TP just launches me at a wall, but what if something else teleports me? When I used /give in that pit, it just shot me into the air. Now I didn't test it out a few times, but it felt random. Like it just put me in a random spot, so what if?
And thus we get to the maze. It's hard to see, but this maze is made up of glass. Trying to use the commands Styx was using for teleporting just brings him back to the start. Like Bedrock is punishing him for being clever. While working on the maze, we also get some more from Zenith. Every time a freeze, every time colder. Or something. And water. Seems to be a mix of commentary as well as a joke all rolled into one. He also types "da" at 3 key points in the maze. Each one comes when Styx gets closer to the maze's end. Up till when Styx remembers, oh yeah, this maze is made of glass. You can break glass.
I'm actually gonna punch someone if I get my hands on him. What the hell is the point? Gotta pull myself out a freaking hole to top it off.
Okay, I know I let that run a bit long again, but it is a great bit of tension now, isn't it? Now Styx, clearly upset, gives himself a new goal. Gather obsidian and try to get to this world's nether. Only now he has these weird light-based beings to deal with chasing him, and an idea to use boats to clear through bedrock walls. And I've had a boat in my inventory for a while now. Let's keep watching and see how he goes about using it. I might be able to use it to help myself out here. And Styx has made it outside. Perfect. Give me just a sec here as I try to figure this out for myself. In the meantime, though, I'll just remind you that Zenith does have a Patreon. I don't know why I feel compelled to tell you that, but I do. Head over there and give him some support so he can continue to make great projects such as this. Ah, here we go. Finally. Some progress. Anyway, let's see how Styx is doing. I mean, the least we can do before going forward is to see if our protagonist for this video even makes it out. So he goes around, gets stuck on 9 obsidian, being short 1, and so he heads up and then clips into the parkour spiral. We find massive red arches and, well, more lights. The story's Minotaur just came back. Not a good situation to be in. Though something is new this time around. If you pay close attention, you can see what looks like players holding the lights, almost like it's a flashlight. Keep that in mind for later. Anyways, Styx keeps running, finds the 10th piece of obsidian he needs, and then has to hide for a short bit before he can then get said piece for his portal.
Oh my god. So there's this trick in Skyblock that you can do where you can light the portal with fire from a burning block. I don't have a flinted steel or lava or anything, but I can use lightning with the command from earlier and light the block on fire, I think.
So the Nether's not an option. More importantly, remember the Goldbug ciphers? Now's the time to get you fully up to speed. This text is your step-by-step solution key, and I'm going to tell you how to read it. Step 1. Haunted equals 1843. Haunted is the name of the track by the musician Poe, which, as I stated before, played in Bedrock Zip 1. 1843 is a year, and if you search Poe 1843, it will point you to the works of Edgar Allan Poe from that year, one of which is The Golden Beetle, which contains the Goldbug cipher. This step is how we were meant to find that clue. The rest is how we translate it. Step 2, exclamation point key equals empty. In coding language, the exclamation point stands for not, so this step reads as not key equals empty. But what does that mean? Well, it comes down to each of the titles. We will work with Styx as our example, so when you translate Goldbug, it gets you this string of text. See how it starts with an S? Well, that's the first letter of our keyword, Styx. So if we take the next letter G, turn it to a blank space, then do that for all the letters between S and our next key letter T, we can then do the same thing for each letter between T and I and C, etc., till we loop back around the keyword and work our way to the end of the string. We then need to do the same for every image using their respective keywords. And remember, we are replacing the letters with blank spaces, not removing them outright, and that is for a good reason. Said reason is step 3. 3 equals universal empty xxvi equals z. This is probably the most complicated to explain, but the simplest to understand in what to do next. The little universal mark is the mathematical symbol of universal quantification, usually meaning for every instance of. Meanwhile, the xxvi is the Roman numeral value of 26. So when read aloud, this message says for every instance of empty, 26 equals z. This is trying to tell us that we need to count our blank spaces, then take that numerical value and translate it to letters. So 1 would be A, 2 would equal B, 3 would equal C, and so on and so forth. Doing that for every single image gives us this string of letters. Yeah, not much to go off of at first. Thankfully, there are some words you can work out and space into this. If we take into account that mistakes were made either in the puzzle's creation or in the translation of which symbols were which in their placement, we can sort of infer the passage to be, no one thinks you'd stand. Something again. Is it something what you call a smile, something on my face? I am that which stands tall. The waves still come to find you. You're exactly why I want something. Again, this is a rough draft of what it could be, and we are missing words, so I invite you to join us in trying to solve this puzzle properly. Go through the steps, see what you can find, and share those findings with the community, either in my comments section or the link to Discord I've included, where the Bedrock community currently resides and figures things out up to this point. Good work so far to all those users who have contributed, and I'm eager to see you in the field. Back to the video, Styx logs back into bedrock.zip, finding himself spawning on a platform high above the pit. The world isn't playing around anymore. Styx has just enough to get away from the platform without getting killed, spends some time collecting what he can find, and then approaches a new structure. A palace of bedrock. As he enters, the lights start to get darker, and that's when Styx whips out a trump card. I told you to keep that in mind. If Styx has a flashlight and he got it as a mod, then maybe that explains the lights we've been seeing all through the video. They have the same shape and whatnot. The question becomes, are these other people keeping tabs on Styx, or is it maybe Styx himself from the future? Now then, we don't see anything on Styx's side of things to suggest that, but it wouldn't be the first series that Zenith has done to include such a plot point. And who could say for sure when bedrock.zip is just one massive spatial anomaly? Styx descends down and down till he finds a semi-open space and a hall of half-doors. Okay, I think it's fair to say this world really wants Styx to stop looking. Of course, he's going to do no such thing. He's going to keep going, down the hall of doors, right up till when he meets a near dead end. Yep, he's back at the parkour towers. This world really has it out for the guy. Anyways, Styx works on scaling the tower, using nothing but his jumping and a single boat to get to the top. And once he's there, well, something interesting happens.
About my love to you. A lifetime guarantee to try. I'm sure that you see.
Fire